What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Alfonso Speaks. My name's Alfonso McCree, and I can't really explain, I can't really put into enough detail how excited I am to get this platform going and really bring the content to YouTube that I've been wanting to bring to YouTube. I've been wanting to cover the trial that we're covering starting today for a very, very long time. A year, in fact. And today is the day that I'm finally going to pull the trigger. Why did it take me so long? Because I could not figure out this OBS stuff and how to get things to work the way I wanted to. But all I had to do was go to YouTube University. This is a great platform, and it taught me everything that I needed to know about how to get this thing working correctly. Now, what you will maybe see is a little bit of a delay in like the video or something like that. I'm still working on that part. Everything else I've got up and running, and we're good to go. But again, I'm Alfonso, and this is the Darrell Brooks trial. If you guys have never heard about this, November 21st, 2021, Darrell Brooks takes his red Ford Escape and crashes it through a Christmas parade in Waukesha, killing 6, injuring dozens, and landing himself in prison for over 1,000 years. Yes, that's the sentence that he received. Now, this would just be marked off as, hey, another terrorism trial. Nothing really too interesting there, but Darrell Brooks himself is a very interesting case study. A case study about how entitlement, how narcissism can lead you to do terrible, terrible things and become the worst possible version of yourself. So, some of you have seen this Darrell Brooks trial before, some of you haven't. But for those of you who haven't, I will be pausing, periodically throughout this video that I'm going to show you. This is a highlight video that Law and Crime Network put together of the Darrell Brooks trial from start to finish, basically showing, I'll say, the lowlights of what was one of the most interesting trials that I've ever seen. And I just want to start off with this one, and then in future episodes what I want to actually do is get into the trial day by day, like different things that I found in the trial that I want to react to with you guys. So we'll start off with this video from the Law and Crime Network, basically just detailing everything that went down in the trial from start to finish. Let's take a look. I'll pause periodically to point out different things that I want you guys to pay attention to as we move forward in these videos.
If you don't make a record,
so
then
what?
I can't make a ruling.
It threw people off the loop. They weren't ready for it. They scared of it. That's what it is. Come on, man.
Mr. Brooks.
Come on, man. Stop.
When you
Stop
aren't
Stop
even
it.
letting
You're a
me
public
ask
servant,
the
Your Honor.
questions.
It is a full recap of the incredible trial of Darrell Brooks Jr. from odd beginnings to an intense end. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. What an interesting and bizarre few weeks we've had following the Darrell Brooks trial out of Waukesha, Wisconsin. As you know, we've been following this trial both here on Sidebar and on the Law and Crime Network, and this was the case about the man who was charged with 76 criminal counts for driving a red SUV into a group of holiday parade goers back in November of 2021, killing 6 people, injuring dozens of others. Now, I will tell you, I have covered a lot of trials here on Law and Crime, and I can honestly tell you that this was the one unlike any other, and also probably one that will be very hard to forget. So we figured, why not do a bit of a recap of the entire trial, highlighting some of these key moments. And really the best place to start, I'm sure you guessed it, was when Brooks decided to fire his defense lawyers and represent himself.
Do you wish to represent yourself in this case?
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would like to represent myself pro per.
What does that mean to you, sir? Explain to me that request.
Again, because I've already said it on record, to represent myself as a sovereign citizen.
I'm not going to make a determination, sir, whether you're a sovereign citizen or not. It's not relevant to my determination how you characterize who you are. So if you are allowed to represent yourself in this case, sir, you will not have attorneys assisting you. If I let them withdraw, they are gone from this case. Do you understand that?
I think I will probably be better served representing myself.
And Judge Darrow did allow Brooks to represent himself. Now, he may look back on that decision and say that probably wasn't the best choice. But what was fascinating is that Brooks identifies as a sovereign citizen. This is something
I do want to stop it right here. because he does say something interesting that Darrell Brooks will look back on this and decide, or think to himself, that probably wasn't the best choice. I actually disagree with that, because I think Darrell Brooks knew, regardless of whether he represented himself or he was represented by attorneys, that he was going to jail. Like, the evidence was, it was overwhelming evidence. Not only did you have eyewitnesses, but you had 4K video, you had street cameras, you had everything that you could imagine putting him in the seat of that Ford Escape and running through that parade. You also had the interrogation video in which, he's acting kind of suspicious. You also have the videos of everything that happened right before the parade attack, which involved him attacking his ex-girlfriend, Erica Patterson. And all of these things piled up together equaled easy conviction. As attorney Sue Opper, who represented the state of Wisconsin in this case, said, this was just about the biggest open and closed case that you could probably find, because there was so much evidence and it was so overwhelming and it was so one-sided. There was nothing really to support Brooks or any alibi that he could have possibly created. So I think, honestly, representing himself was the best thing to do for him because of his strategy. His strategy, albeit obnoxious, albeit disrespectful to the victims and their families, it was the best strategy that he could have possibly put forward, in my opinion. His strategy was to disrupt. His strategy was to make it seem that the court was being unfair to him or violating his rights, because his whole thing was, if I can cause a mistrial or if I can cause this trial to be set up for an appeal or something, maybe I can get off scot-free with this. Maybe they'll handle something wrong. Maybe they'll do something wrong because I'm agitating them. That was really his entire approach throughout this entire trial, and it was actually probably the best thing he could have done for himself, because there's no way that he was going to be able to get away with this even with attorneys present, because those attorneys could not make all that evidence that he had stacked against him disappear. It just wasn't going to happen. So that's the only thing that this guy says that I definitely disagree with. I think Brooks was not necessarily smart, but made the best possible choice of how to approach this case.
Someone who doesn't really believe that they are under the jurisdiction of the government, that they're exempt from U.S. laws, which is seemingly why he would make repeated statements about his legal name, or statements that would undermine the authority of the court and the trial.
Sir, did you hear me tell you about the penalties for these offenses just now?
I don't understand the nature and cause of the charges.
I'm not asking you that, sir. Did you hear me advise you of the penalties for hit and run resulting in death?
I don't understand.
Mr. Brooks, any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. For the record, I don't consent to that name. Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
The written decision that I previously entered is what I will stand on. I'm not going to address it any further.
Is that verified proof? Can we address subject matter jurisdiction and still has to be proven for the record?
I decline to do so.
Ah, yes, the infamous subject matter jurisdiction argument that he made throughout the trial, even till the very end. And it's an issue that really has no basis in law, because this court does, in fact, have the jurisdiction to handle this criminal case. But as the trial progressed, Brooks became even more argumentative and would constantly interrupt the judge, to the point that he would get kicked out of court and placed in a neighboring courtroom with audio and visual tools so he could see and hear everything. But it was intense and bizarre nonetheless.
Before, I need to make a record that at 8:42 a.m. this court ordered Mr. Brooks be removed from the courtroom due to repeated interruptions and disruption with the court. You can see that he is seated with his back to the court, or to the camera. He took his shirt off as well. I'm also told that he is threatening to throw and break items.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning of it. So we're going to get more into Brooks's behavior in a minute, but let's get into the meat of the case, what this case is really about. We want to get into the actual crimes here. So several witnesses to this parade attack actually testified in graphic detail about what they saw and about what they heard.
So we're going to save the testimony for another day. I'm going to skip through it. But what I do want you guys to understand is that there were so many eyewitnesses to this. There's no way he was going to be able to get off. You had eyewitnesses ranging from police officers to guardians, parents, parade goers, parade marchers, all types of stuff. You had anybody you could think of that could have been affected by this attack. They were affected. Now, and they did testify. And the thing is, the reason why this trial is so interesting is because of the next part that I'm going to show you. We are going to watch the interrogation video as well. Very interesting stuff there. But what I want you guys to see is how his behavior shaped the way that this trial went from a pace standpoint, because as the trial went along, he started to get more and more aggravated, and I want to show you guys a little bit of it here.
One point, let's begin. After he had a few of these outbursts, he actually apologized.
I would like to issue the court an apology from me in regards to my actions last week during the trial. I just want the court to understand it's very emotional right now, not only for just the whole situation of the trial, the families here that have to go through, you know, everything that's going to be involved with the trial, but also my family as well and myself. It's very, very emotional. But not to excuse my actions, I should carry myself with better respect than that. I wasn't raised that way.
The "I wasn't raised that way" is really something else. But we all knew this didn't last long.
I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody. I don't have a problem with doing what you ask me to do, not tell me. Just like when I asked you about subject matter jurisdiction that you have yet to prove on the record. But somehow I'm being intentionally disruptive. Come on, man. Stop. Just stop it.
Jury's coming out.
All rise for the jury.
Not gonna work.
Yeah, and it only got worse.
I don't care what you believe fully.
All right.
It's not a game. I don't take this as a game. That's what nobody, you don't gotta explain nothing to me. That's what you don't understand. You think that this is a whole game to me. This is not a game to me, Your Honor.
Now, in fact, there was one point when he got so angry. You see, Brooks had called as a witness his ex-girlfriend, Erica Patterson. Now, she had previously testified for the state, and it's alleged that Brooks got into a fight with her and attacked her right before he drove the car into the parade. And Brooks, when he had her on the stand, what he wanted to do was introduce these photographs to arguably show that she wasn't a credible witness and also a bad mother. So when prosecutor Zach Witschow talked about what would happen if these photos were allowed into evidence, he said that he'd have no choice but to reveal something very negative about Brooks's past. And again, this was all outside the presence of the jury. And thank goodness, because look how Brooks blew up.
Second of all, if we go down that road, we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has. He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada, and for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
And that's furthermore to that. I'm not, because that's a lie.
Let him
at
finish.
The end of the day,
Let
if
him
we,
finish.
If we're gonna open the
Mr.
door on that.
Brooks.
No, since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate on the record. Since you think you know so much,
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open
Brooks
the door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she
disrespectful,
was when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask that question
He is
too. Then
over the
Did you
top,
ask that?
animated
Did you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down and to let the state finish.
No, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right. Under Illinois versus Allen, I've warned him repeatedly. He's being removed from the courtroom. And you know what? Let me dial that back. We're just going to take an early lunch, 1 hour. We'll be back. And unless he brings that letter, and he can show it is inadmissible, she will not be questioned, and under 906.11, I will declare the cross-examination closed. Thank you, we're in recess, 1 hour.
Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then, so we can get all of it on the record. Since you think you know so much. Did you know she said she was 18 when I met her? Did you know that?
And if you thought that was bad, the worst of the worst is when at one point the judge had to stop court proceedings because she was actually scared of Brooks.
So as long as the jury's out, we should probably discuss that. I would like to provide the defendant and the court with a copy.
So that had to be said. So it's the defendant.
That's not how it was said.
That was how I said. You want to run the record back?
Mr. Brooks.
So I'm the only one. I got one.
Mr.
I got
Brooks.
one ear that work, and I heard that.
This
Come on,
is
man.
to benefit you so
No,
that
it's
you
not.
understand
Ain't none of
your
this to benefit me,
witness
so let's
has
be clear
a
about
prior
that.
record.
Your Honor, when I leave the table, I'm away from the courtroom, and I have to elevate my voice. This is the
So she had to
alleged
elevate her
record of
voice just for
ableist.
that.
Stop talking.
Come on, man. Like, I don't know who y'all be thinking y'all fooling. I accept the value in return for value this document.
One more interruption and you're going to be removed to the next courtroom.
That's what you want to do anyway.
It's not what I want to do. Do not interrupt Attorney Opper.
So can
Your
you
Honor,
tell,
I
can
believe
you
he has 7 prior criminal convictions via OWI 2nd from 1997, and OWI 3rd from 1997, and OWI 4th from 2003, criminal trespass.
Like, look at this dude. Look at bro. So you're starting to see kind of the man that was behind the wheel running through that parade because he was mad about what had just happened with his ex-girlfriend. So the reason I wanted to really go after this trial is because it really fascinates me. You know, this could be almost like a case study of maybe some people that you guys recognize in your own lives, or maybe some of you personally that see some of these qualities in yourself and don't want to end up in the same kind of situation that Darrell Brooks ends up in. Because yes, while this trial is very entertaining, we have to remember that at the end of the day, he took the lives of 6 people, including a child. I have a child, and I have another one on the way. If this would happen to my child, like, I don't know how entertaining I would find this, you know. But regardless, you know, I think just as a culture, we are fascinated with things like this. It is what it is. And I just want to make content about this trial specifically and really focus on who Darrell Brooks is as a person and how we can avoid people like him in our lives, or avoid becoming people like him in our lives. We're going to break down everything. We're going to break down his upbringing, his relationship with his mom. We're going to break down all the things that he's done with his criminal history. We're going to break down his relationship with Erica Patterson. We're going to break down this trial. We're going to break down all of it because I think all of it plays an essential piece into what ended up happening on November 21 of 2021. There's a lot of people at fault here, specifically Darrell Brooks, the one behind the wheel, but a lot of people that went into building the character of the man that we see snarling at the judge in this video. So if you guys like this video, like, share, subscribe. I promise you, I will be coming with more Darrell Brooks content as long as you guys want me to, because this is the content I've been dying to make. Can't wait for this, alright? So, until the next video, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm Alfonso, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!